Good evening and thanks for joining us for Monday's news. The non-government organisation Centre for Environmental Law and Community today signed an MOU with the Oro provincial government. This will create a partnership opportunity for collaboration in sharing resources and expertise for a common cause. Governor of the Northern Province, Gary Jufa, has been a vocal advocate against illegal logging and has welcomed the signing.
A memorandum of understanding was signed today between the Oro provincial government and human rights NGO Centre for Environmental Law and Community Rights, CELCO. Under the MOU, the Oro provincial government will support CELCO, assist customary landowners with their legal proceedings in court against logging companies that cause destruction to their natural environment. Governor of Northern Province Gary Jufa has always been vocal about illegal logging and its destruction to the natural environment. He believes the locals are better managers of their environment than the loggers.
People best know their forest, their land, and they know how to manage their forest and their land in such a way that they are not destroying it.
CELCO has a long-standing partnership with landowners in the province, and the MOU will further strengthen their efforts to rid the environment of illegal loggers. The governor says there is no real benefit from logging. Even the promise of agriculture projects by loggers is non-existent.
If there are any, then I'd like to hear from those organizations where they can come and say that we successfully logged this area and now we have an agricultural project that is up and running and successful. I do not think there is any.
CELCO has been acting as a legal aid and is at the forefront of ensuring the rights of landowners are upheld. Apart from the provincial government's support, they are asking the government for support also.
It's time now to government to seek out, hold hands with these organizations to become partners and stakeholders to effective service delivery.
CELCO also provides legal advice to landowners and training programs to educate them to allow them to have a clear mind in making informed decisions.
At the same time, we work with local communities who need to know about the legal aspect of their rights to negotiate, promoting the prior informed consent.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.
Counting for the Moresby Northwest by-election is anticipated to begin tomorrow at selected venues. Acting Electoral Commissioner Simon Sinai in a statement says preparations for the start of the counting process are on track. Of the 42 candidates who contested, 11 are contesting under a political banner, while the others running as independent candidates. Lohia Boy Samuel, the first runner-up for the 2017 national elections, and former Community Development Secretary Anna Bice are in this race. Meanwhile, supporters and scrutinizers are already camping outside the counting venue. President of Kutubu LLG in Southern Highlands, John Pipikila, is calling for more support from the police hierarchy. The LLG recently bought a new police vehicle to assist policing in the area. Thanking the Southern Highlands government for their support, President Kila also urged stakeholders like Exxon and Oil Search to assist build better policing infrastructure in Kutubu.
President John Pipikila and LLG consultant Alan Riggs presented the police proposal to ACPN Chief of Operations Donald Yambasombi. The proposal outlines the purpose of building policing efforts in and around Kutubu area. For the LLG president, manpower has been a legacy issue for the local police.
We need him to implement power on Pimanga. Because Pimanga only popular policeman. Popular policeman does only operate now.
Recently, hundreds gathered in Pimiga Station to witness the launch of a police vehicle, an ambulance generator and other equipment. This ceremony was attended by 18 ward councils. The Deputy Police Commissioner says the recent corporate plan for the force is an additional pillar, and that is to forge stakeholder partnership to rebuild, reshape and improve policing in rural areas.
No, build him infrastructure, give him resource, na to police me like him you lo come na sit down lo here. Beef him up number. Because all people, you talk 16,000 long Kutubu. Mount Bosavi, 25,000, and big population. All man marry by feeling safe, na hamamas time, security problem guaranteed.
Kutubu play host to a number of oil and gas projects. It scatters on the boundaries of Hela, Enga, Western and East Sepik. The LLG consultant urged project developers to assist build more infrastructures for police.
Project, we need support belong our development partners, OSS na Action Mobile. Maybe been requesting also increasing manpower and at the same time maybe talk long police infrastructure. Now long supporting this work long police now effective policing inside long Kutubu LLG now all not impacted areas long project area.
The Southern Highlands Provincial Government has also assisted the Kutubu LLG with funding. President Killer says this shows the commitment to embrace policing and maintain order in the electorate.
Also, Governor Blow, you me, I'm good man. Nam support wanda me, helping me, doctor wanda me, na ndisla nubla police car come. Na nubla ambulance come of Himanga. Na nubla ambulance.
Jacob Power Jr., National EMTV News.
The current law and order situation in Porgera is a concern for many civilians and business houses. The frequent hold-ups and roadblocks has affected many business operations, and while the lives of people are at risk with the ongoing tribal fights.
Crime in Porgera is a situation that needs to be addressed. Local residents who spoke to us say the presence of firearms has contributed to a relatively high number of murder cases in Porgera. Last year, 3 children among 10 were killed in tribal conflict using guns. In most cases, guns are used in tribal fights, armed robberies and roadblocks. For many women and children, security is a concern to them.
You got big law and order problem inside Porgera. Plenty older, plenty roadblocks, build up of firearms in the Porgera Valley. It is more fighting close to. All undermining more power blow policeman. If the government can run around in the night or during the day in the watchful eyes of the police, what safety is it guaranteed for the civilians here?
Elizabeth Yarume is a local businesswoman and the current president for Porgera Women in Business. She says apart from the closure of mine, which has affected small business activities, crime has also interrupted the cash flow within the business sector of Porgera, with most business houses shutting down operations.
Business houses, most of the business houses in the valley, they have closed down. They don't feel safe operating in an environment where there is no safety guaranteed for them to do business in here.
Since Porgera mine was closed in April last year, majority of the people who depend on it have suffered. Most of the locals engaged to work lost their jobs. However, the signing of a new framework agreement will see the mine recommence operations. But with crime being a contributing factor to the breakdown in business, Yarume is concerned if this situation is not addressed, it may affect the mine's operations. She appealed to the Enga provincial and the national government to intervene before the mine reopens.
Before we do the mining, before we go ahead with the operations, we need to address this law and order issue, because that's the very priority and paramount concerns that all the stakeholders, the landowners we have in the valley.
Suli, National EMTV News.
With up to 19,000 village court officials across the country, the Attorney General and Secretary for Justice, Dr. Eric Kwa, says so much focus has been on the upper levels of the court system and the village courts have been neglected. He made these comments this morning during the launching of the Crime Prevention through Revitalization Village Court Strategy 2020 to 2030. It is a 10-year strategy that will hopefully give more support to village court officials and help improve systems on that level.
These are provincial liaison officers from around the country who are in Leh this week for the PLO workshop. They are in charge of the village court systems in each province. However, the Attorney General and Secretary for Justice, Dr. Eric Kwa, says their operations at the community level have been neglected. This morning, he addressed the participants at the official opening of the workshop.
We must appreciate the work of the village court officers. The idea is to share with them our new strategy, the revitalization of the village court system, strategy 2020 to 2030.
There are up to 19,000 village court officials in the country. These are the people who are in the forefront of settling disputes and mediations at the community level. According to Dr. Eric Kwa, in Papua New Guinea, an average of 50,000 cases are heard by village court officials every year. Dr. Kwa said much of the focus in improving court systems have been on the upper levels and not the village courts.
They've been the ones that have been putting out the fires, as I call it, all throughout the country. Unfortunately, since independence, we have not been able to give them the recognition and give them the support that they deserve.
This morning, the Crime Prevention through Revitalized Village Court Strategy 2020 to 2030 was launched. This is a 10-year strategy that will hopefully address some of the issues and support the operations of village courts in the country.
So in terms of our operations from Department of Justice all the way down to the LLGs, we're going to reform that. We're also trying to improve their salary and wages for the village court officials.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
You're watching National EMTV News. Among stories after the break, commemorating World Ocean Day and rebranding Bank South Pacific. Details after the break. Welcome back. Over 1,500 city residents walked from Murray Barracks to the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium in commemoration of World Oceans Day yesterday. Led by NCD Governor Paus Pakop, the day saw participants doing coastal cleanup along the city coastlines.
More than 1,500 city residents walked from Murray Barracks to the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium in an effort to promote marine and ocean wellness yesterday. The participants walked for the state of the earth, for the environment, and with hopes that we will all take practical steps now towards protecting our environment, more specifically for the ocean, marine life, and coral reefs that are under threat.
The ocean gives us fish, marine life. It generates income for coastal people. Support the national government with fishing every day.
The ocean covers over 70% of our planet. It produces at least 50% of the planet's oxygen and is home to most of the Earth's biodiversity. Just as much as we respect the trees, land, mountains, and rivers, equally we have to respect the ocean.
Papua New Guinea, we host 65% of the intake coral reef. There is a coral reef triangle, well coral reef triangle that the international community recognized. Indonesia, Philippines to PNG into Solomon. It hosts 65% of the well coral reef that helps us to sink carbon and gives us oxygen.
According to NCD Governor Paus Pakop, PNG hosts 65% of the tuna stock of the world, and that in turn gives a lot of income to the country.
$20,000 US every day. You have to times by 3. So 3 times 2 and 60,000 kina every day. American Fishing Company pays to National Fisheries Authority, comes to the consolidated revenue, becomes budget, and goes out to the entire length and breadth of our country.
The coastal cleanup encouraged residents along the coast to take ownership of their environment and to consider marine wellness as well. The governor says it is now time for action.
This generation, you may cut him, you may take him, you may hook him, you may thinking of Manitasola, you know, thinking of biodiversity, you know, thinking of oxygen, you know, thinking of ecology, you may not thinking of cultural value of Iwaina, mountain, Solwarana, river. We are a generation that is destroyed. So our children, we've got to get them to become generation restoration.
Lilian Sopera-Kinea, National EMTV News.
St. John Ambulance Service in Leh has attended to over 20 cases since its soft launching 2 weeks ago. 2 ambulances are currently on operation 24 hours, serving the people of Leh City and outside centres of Morbe, including Nadzab in the Wampar LLG of Huon Gulf District. The ambulance service was made possible through the signing of an MOA between the Leh City Authority, Morbe Provincial Health Authority and St. John Ambulance.
These are the two ambulances operating in and around Lake City. Residents can now call 111 emergency number to get to St. John Ambulance Headquarters in Port Moresby. They send an alert to the lay team to attend to emergency cases in the city. In the two ambulances, a resuscitation and trauma kit, a pediatric kit that contains birthing equipment for women in labor.
So probably in the near future they might, give us another ambulance. So it depends on the cases that we attend. In a day, like yesterday, the day before yesterday, we attended 3 cases in one day. So probably as weeks go by, we might increase that number in a day. So we're operating 12 hours. So only due to shortage of manpower and the number of ambulances that we have.
In December last year, a memorandum of agreement was signed between the Moresby Provincial Health Authority, St. John Ambulance and Lay City Authority with a funding of 100,000 kina to set up the office. Lay St. John Ambulance Service is now stationed at the Lay Fire Station, whilst consultation is underway to secure land to build a permanent regional headquarters.
As long as they're all staffed, they're all equipped to handle the various things. And that's what having a centralized ambulance service really does. It helps facilitate and get people to the help they need more quickly.
The St. John Ambulance in Lay is also working in collaboration with Manalos Aviation, Lay Urban Clinics and the Engau General Hospital. They will extend their services to UN Gulf and Nawai districts.
The roads in Lay are a bit tough. At the moment we've got a land cruiser that the bus cannot access those roads. We're using the land cruiser. If the road is accessible by the bus, we're going to use the bus. But at the moment we're using the land cruiser.
Julie Badui, OA, National EMTV News, Lay.
Formerly known as Bank of South Pacific Limited, the latest company name change has resulted in the company now being called BSP Financial Group Limited. This follows BSP's listing on the Australian Stock Exchange recently, and last Friday saw the largest bank in the country do rebranding on its logo and tagline.
BSP's Port Moresby Banking Chamber was eventually chosen for the launch of BSP's new logo and tagline last Friday, allowing bank customers to also witness the special occasion.
Therefore, the brand launch is not just appropriate because it's the most iconic building in PNG, but also because we are launching with our customers who make BSP what it is today. The logo is bolder and more modern. The storyboards will be captured on all our branch branding and customised to reflect the region we operate in. The tagline, "Our bank, our people," states exactly how BSP supports Papua New Guinea and the Pacific.
BSP opened its doors in 1957 in Port Moresby as a branch of the National Bank of Australasia Limited. In 1995, a consortium of Papua New Guinea businesses acquired the bank, creating the first and only PNG private sector-owned bank. Then in 2001, BSP purchased Papua New Guinea Banking Corporation. Other acquisitions in the South Pacific region followed, with purchase of banks in countries like Fiji and Solomon Islands. And the bank's branding has evolved over time.
The bank has gone through many changes throughout its collective journey spanning 64 years. Some of the significant changes have translated into visible changes. Kano similar logo blue me, na tagline blue me am change, am so im story also bank to am change. Na mi evolve na kam. So we are constantly evolving.
Today we launch a new brand and a new tagline. As our marketing people tell me, and as Peter talked about, it's very much an evolution and not a revolution, a refinement and a restatement of what BSP is.
I'm on a special occasion now lo East Triple Bank. I'm launching new logo na tagline. Yubla sawa this la Triple Kundu na this la logo also talk BSP. Now I'm going on the Lilig evolution and change.
BSP reported in its last AGM a net profit after tax for 2020 of 806 million kina, which is negative 9.5% compared to 2019 results, mainly due to COVID-19 related impacts. However, BSP board and management anticipate a positive profit outcome for 2021 given improvement of the COVID-19 situation. Dennis Sorere, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NAS Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3537 Australian dollars, $0.2198 euro and 29.78 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed higher, cocoa and copra closed lower. Palm oil and copper closed lower, crude oil is trading lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 10.59 points higher. The ASX 200 is trading at 13.5 points lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 11.7 points lower.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League has advised all league affiliates throughout the country that no games will commence until approval is sought from the Office of the Pandemic Controller. PNG-RFL CEO Stanley Hondina, in a brief statement, said this advice covers all major, minor, affiliated and schools rugby league competitions.
Sports competitions are slowly making a comeback as restrictions get eased by the pandemic controller as the country returns to the new normal. Rugby league in the country is also making a return. The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League has advised all league affiliates throughout the country that no games will commence until approval is sought from the Office of the Pandemic Controller. PNG-RFL CEO Stanley Hondina, in a media statement released last week, said this advice covers all major, minor, affiliated and schools rugby league competitions, that no games are to be played pending approval from the Controller's Office. The semi-professional rugby league competition, the Digicel Cup, was granted approval and the competition kicked off the 2021 season on Saturday the 5th of June. Hondina said he had sent a letter to the Controller seeking approval for the commencement of all other rugby league competitions after the Digicel Cup games commenced. Hondina added that any competition kicking off before formal approval is granted will be seen as off-season and a non-PNG-RFL sanctioned event. He added that PNG-RFL, as a responsible organization, has been fully complying with all COVID-19 protocols and processes since the pandemic started and will continue to do so. Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
The SP PNG Hunters' dip in form has continued with the loss to Townsville Blackhawks 38-28. The Blackhawks got the better of the Hunters in this high-scoring affair. Following the sin-binning of prop Samuel Yegep, the Blackhawks scored 3 tries to move out of reach of the Hunters, who only converted 2 of their tries.
The vocal crowd support at Bycroft Oval wasn't enough to pull the Hunters through to a win as they went down to the Townsville Blackhawks 38 points to 28. Blackhawks' Jalen Feeney got things underway, scoring in the 3rd minute. Jacody Birra pulled one back for the Hunters, crossing over for his side's first try.
Wide, Feeney gets involved. The Blackhawks through Carroll, who puts it on the boot. Oh, lovely kick from Michael Carroll, and a try to Jalen Feeney for the Townsville Blackhawks.
The Hunters then scored 2 tries through Kevin Apple within 5 minutes, giving the team the lead 14 points to 6 after 20 minutes.
Oh, they won't stop Jacody Birra.
However, the Hunters' lead didn't last long as the Blackhawks scored 3 unanswered tries through Nathan Barrett and Luke Geary, who found the try line twice. This gave the Blackhawks the lead at halftime, 20 points to 14. The second half began with Luke Geary scoring his 3rd try of the match, crossing over in the corner, followed by former Hunter Moses Maninga, who got into the action, crashing over for the Blackhawks. Michael Carroll then crossed over for the Townsville side after receiving a loop-in cutout pass. The Hunters hit back with 3 unanswered tries of their own through Jacody Bire, Brendan Nima and Benji Cott. But it wasn't enough to catch the Blackhawks, who did enough to win the game 38 points to 28.
And the Hunters, they might have scored a try here. Ben Kelly.
Huxley Lovai, Chukai Sports.
And that story wraps up Chukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Cloudy with a shower or 2 in Port Moresby, Kerma and Popondetta. Cloudy with some rain showers in Daru and cloudy with some rain and thunder in Alatau. In the Mamasa region, cloudy with some showers in Lae, Midang, Wewak and Vanimo and some showers in Wau. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy with a few showers in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka and some showers, then cloudy weather in Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with some showers in Mount Hagen, Goroka and Kundiawa and cloudy with rainy periods in Mendi and Wabeg. Forecast for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Straits and Daru to Kiwai Islands and Kerma to Yule Island and Hood Point to Samari Islands, seas of 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Samari Island to eastern and western Milne Bay Islands to Cape Vogel, seas of 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finchhafen and with waters of Finchhafen through Vitiaz and Dampier Straits to Siasi and Long Island, seas of 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Long Island to Medang to Wewak to Aitape and Vanimo, including northern PNG Indonesian border, with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and including waters of New Ireland and to New Britain and Bougainville, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. A look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. In the Coral Sea, seas rough with southeasterly winds at 20 to 33 knots. In the Solomon Sea, seas light with southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas light with southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas light with northeast to southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for Monday, the 7th of June, 2021. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing, be safe and good night.